Dr. Evil, bringing to you a very different commentary than I was prepared to bring to you guys when I first started this channel. First, a little bit about why I'm posting this video today. This video, which you're watching, is I think Downhill with suppressed Scar H. It's almost ironic that I would be posting a video from a map called Downhill.
Kill confirmed.
And really the only reason why I recorded this video is because of the way that it ended. I really had not intended to use this video. I had not intended to record on this video because I felt like, you know, I just get killed too many times. But the way that the match ended, I thought that it ended in such abrupt fashion that I felt like, you know, there was some sort of message in that, and unfortunately, on a day like today, I find myself using this footage in a very different way than I had originally intended. I like to let you know that I'm dedicating this video to my father. Today, my father tried to take his own life. And how do I put this? The reasons for him doing so is really the the inspiration for this video, is really the subject matter for this video. And you know, I promised him that I was going to make a video because he wanted to make a video himself to put on YouTube, but he doesn't have the resources to do so. And I promised him that I would make a video on this particular subject, but I wasn't prepared to do it now. But in light of today's events, I really don't have it. I learned that there is no right time. There's no perfect time to do anything. There's now and there's now. Because tomorrow, even 15 minutes from now, is promised to no one. And it's important that if you have something that's important to you and you have something to say, it's really important that you put it out there. You know, don't wait for the perfect time. I guess that's one of the lessons that can be learned, if anything. Take nothing away from this. But the message I want to bring to you today is that, you know, I feel that, you know, my father, his reasons are understandable. A lot of people feel that people who attempt suicide or who successfully commit suicide, that they're weak people who are selfish and they're just going to take the easy way out. But I'm going to let you into a little bit of what my dad has gone through. My dad was born June 28th, 1960. That would put him at age 53. The first 9 years of those 53 years was spent locked in a room being abused in every manner that you can probably imagine. We're talking psychological, we're talking emotional, we're talking physical, we're talking sexual. Locked in a room for the first 9 years of his life. And that's the kind of start that he got. Not everybody gets to have two great parents that dote on them and buy them PlayStation 3s and Xbox 360s. Not everybody has those kinds of you know, those kinds of, I guess you could say, amenities, those kind of situations in life. Not everybody is afforded that. His beginnings were very warped, and it really warped his views of himself, his views of the world. You know, when he was 22, he met another warped person in my own mother. And two warped people came to make Dr. Evil Genius. How you know, how ironic is that, right? But on a serious note, you know, he went through a lot growing up, and it just turned out that the cycle of abuse continued when I was born, and you know, I was severely abused myself, and my father really wanted very much to save me from that abuse, but he really didn't know how to go about it, because he just didn't have the tools to be a father. He didn't have his father in his life, and he had a lot of abnormal things happen to him. So it basically ends with, you know, him trying to do his best to save me from other people who were supposed to care for me, and you know, him failing, and me ending up in the foster care system. And after I got out of the foster care system, he was one of those people that ended up abusing me too. And a lot of the statistics that you see out there will show you that, yeah, a lot of people who have been abuse victims end up becoming abusers themselves, which is something I fought hard against becoming myself. So, you know, my father ended up turning to drugs, and my family and I ended up in domestic violence shelters from when I was 9 years old. And my family being my mother and my two very, very young sisters, me being the oldest. And it really, a lot of anger. I developed a lot of anger issues myself, and the abuse didn't stop. You know, when you know, we got away from my father when he was at the height of his drug addiction, my mother continued the abuse all the way up until I managed to escape from those situations when I was 19. At age 20, I wound up in a homeless shelter. You know, I wasn't, you know, in the minor leagues. You know, I wasn't in, like, you know, minor league baseball like I had hoped. I wasn't in the NBA like I had hoped. A lot of those dreams were dashed very, very early on. Instead, I was in a homeless shelter, and I had so much anger for my father because I really just, he never got the opportunity to speak for himself. But I saw a film that, you know, really got me thinking about me and all the anger that I had, and understanding that I needed to get to know myself and who I was if I was ever going to become a whole human being. And for me to get to know myself, I had to get to know who my father was. So I went searching for my father, and lo and behold, he was in a homeless shelter. But he was off drugs, and I was proud of him for that. I was also proud of him because for all the things that he put me and my family through, he didn't offer any bullshit excuses, and I really appreciated that as well. And over the last 10 years or so, up until today, he really represented hope for me, hope for everybody. He gave me hope for people that had done wrong to me, because I felt like anybody can change at that point. And I was so proud of him. And it just so turns out that in all those years that he was dealing with what he was dealing with the drug addictions, it turned out that he was suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder. And from that post-traumatic stress disorder, you know, anybody that knows what it is, and anybody who knows anyone who's been in the military, they know that post-traumatic stress disorder is a mental illness. Unfortunately, as you look at the final kill cam here, I guess, you know, as I said before, with how this gameplay ended, what it means to me now is that you never know what's around the corner. You never know if it's going to be you that goes down. You never know if you're going to be the one to triumph. You just never know. And I know we're going to black here, but I'm going to probably upload some more footage here. I'm probably not going to discuss the footage because I don't want to get away from the point. The point is that you never know what's around the corner. And for my father, dealing with post-traumatic stress disorder and dealing with his mental illnesses for the last 40 plus years, the message that he gave to me that I understood very well is that mental illnesses are not just schizophrenics who are out there acting crazy, who are pushing people in front of the subway cars, who are hearing voices and have multiple personalities and such. That's what everybody sees on TV. In reality, mental illnesses, they have very many faces. There are very many diagnoses out there. Diagnoses, I think. There are so many different faces to mental illness. There's so many different ways that they display themselves, that they show themselves. And post-traumatic stress disorder is a mental illness. Of course, it turns out that my father actually is bipolar, but that did not really factor in today. My father is not a delusional bipolar person. He just feels really manic one minute and really depressed sometimes, where he just wants to go to sleep. But never delusional. Never feeling like he's hearing weird voices or anything like that. It's just that he's been through so much in his life that his brain has been overloaded for the better part of 4 decades. And in the last 5 or 6 years, you know, my father went to these people that were supposed to provide supportive housing. And I stress supportive because they were supposed to support him. And they were supposed to offer him anything that he needed to get better and to feel better about himself, to feel like he can live somewhat of a happy life with some sense of normalcy, some sense at all. And instead, what he went through was persecution from these people. And it really got me to thinking after watching an episode of Law and Order SVU, where there was a rape victim that was in a mental institution, and she was being raped in a mental institution by the person that kind of had her committed in the first place, which was our uncle. And one of the things that she said, and I know this is fictional, but this does apply, but one of the things that she said was that who's going to believe the crazy person? Think about that for a second. Who really is going to believe the crazy person when they complain about being abused or about some corrupt entity going on? Who's really going to listen at all? Who's going to give them any credit for the intelligence that they do possess? Not many, right? And why is that? Because everybody believes that mental illnesses equals retarded, equals stupid, equals delusional. And my father's a shining example of someone who is anything but. And what drove him to what happened today is that these people at the supportive housing organization, there's one particular person upset his PTSD, and for whatever personal reason, some vendetta grew inside her, and she decided that she was going to make his life a living hell at every turn. And he fought and he fought and he fought, And, you know, he called congressmen, he called all kinds of politicians, and had called all kinds of organizations to get investigations opened up. And not too many people were proactive in helping him at all. And what the person did, instead of trying to help him, they tried to get his child, his 1-year-old daughter, taken from him. And all of this for what? Why go to such lengths to try to stick it to somebody who is disenfranchised, who's at a disadvantage? Why? This is my theory. My theory is that we live in a world of predator and prey. Much like what you watch here when you see games like Call of Duty, when you see games like Grand Theft Auto, Battlefield. In some respects, when you look at team sports, it's one entity versus another, and whoever comes out on top is considered to be superior. And why is that? I believe that we live in a time and place in society where it's predators versus prey. And more we're hearing stories of people who are given responsibilities, the privilege of responsibilities of helping people who can't help themselves, and in some cases giving voices to those who don't have voices themselves. And what are they doing? You've got teachers who are going to elementary schools and middle schools and high schools, and they're attempting to solicit sexual relationships with the students. And you've got people who are paid to help people in nursing homes who are older. Their bodies are breaking down, their minds are breaking down, and they just want to go out with some sort of dignity. And what do some of these people do? They abuse some of the people who are living in these homes. You've got people who abuse people who go for help for social services. And much like my father, people were supposed to help the mentally ill. They take their perception of these people as powerless and stupid, and who's gonna listen to them? They take whatever that is, and they use it to victimize victims. Why? Why are we doing this? Why can't we just help people for the sake of helping people? Why? That's the question that my father wanted to put out there. That's the question. That's the message that I'm trying to bring to you in this commentary. Why? Why can't we help the people who need it the most? Why do we shower so much praise and adoration on the people that need nothing? They don't need your praise. They don't need your adoration. A professional athlete making X millions of dollars a year, they don't need free meals at a high priced restaurant. They don't need free clothing. They don't need free anything. But we stigmatize and we try to put down the people that don't have anything. And even more so, the people that have less than nothing. They don't even have the privilege of having their mental faculties to remain intact. But what do? We make fun of them. We victimize them. Why? Why must we do that? Why? We don't really stop to think about what happens to the other person. I mean, sure, when we're playing Call of Duty, yeah, we stop to think about it a little bit. Like, you get one of those kills. Oh yeah, he's mad. You know that if you get a bullshit kill in the game, he's mad, right? You know the effect on the other person, right? I guess I've kind of gone off on a weird tangent, but I guess the point that I want to make here is two things. Number one, you never know what's around the corner. You'll never know what's around the corner. And I think that we all need to be prepared for anything, and that's positive and negative. Gotta be prepared for everything. And the second thing is that we need to think about how our actions affect others. And we need to want better for the people around us more than we want what we want for ourselves. I don't know how better I can put that. I don't know really how else to put it. When they say think about someone other than yourself for once, really think about it, because the person that you ignore that needs help, that person has other people that care about them somewhere in the world. And if something happens to them, they're going to be devastated, like myself. It's important to do what you can when you can do it. It's important to think about someone other than yourself, and not just think about them, but really do something that can really help somebody. Hopefully in the future, I'll have happier videos. Of course, I will be talking about a lot of hard-hitting situations, but I think it's really important to put this video out there today. And I really hope that anybody watching or listening to this, please share it, as far and wide as you can. I mean, just as far and wide as you can. Anybody who is in the gaming community, link this video. Link this. I will never whore myself out for links and likes and subscriptions and all that crap. I'll never whore myself out for that. But for this video, this one particular video, I think that this needs to get out. I think this needs to be linked for the more popular YouTubers out there.
Kill confirmed.
Anybody wanting to use this video, anybody wanting to use snippets of the comments or anything like that, anybody out there that gives half a damn about someone other than themselves, you can take this video, you can use it however you like, but get this out there. Mental illnesses, they have very, very many faces.
Be advised.
They have very, very many ways that they show themselves. Sometimes they don't show themselves all that well. Sometimes the person you think has it all together is struggling with a lot. Don't be afraid to offer some help to somebody. Just do what you can. Even just a kind word or two can make a huge difference in the life of someone who feels like the burden that they carry may just be too much to bear. Everybody counts. Everybody matters. Not just the people who are on TV. Not just the people who are rich. Everyone matters. Everybody matters.
Hostile UAV above.
I just want to put this out there for my father if he gets a chance to see this video. I want you to know that I love you very much. And
kill confirmed.
I really hope that this video represents everything that you were striving to put out there, every idea that you were striving to get out there to advocate for the mentally ill. I really hope that I was able at least in some small way, do it some kind of justice.
Kill denied.
I know that it deserves a lot more than this. It deserves a
Kill
lot more than I
denied.
can give it. But
Kill confirmed.
I just hope that I made you proud with this.
Kill confirmed.
For the rest of everyone
Kill
out there,
confirmed.
you know, the only thing I could say is,
UAV inbound.
you know, everybody matters. Everything counts. Everyone counts. This is Dr. Evil, signing off.